I guess the best way to describe our students, which is very difficult, but if you're going to put them under one umbrella, before coming to Grand River Academy, something wasn't working. That something could be a huge public school class size of 30, kind of getting lost in the shuffle. It could be a messy home life. It could be a bad peer group. It could be mild to moderate learning differences, but something before coming here wasn't working. And that's the best way to put all of our students under an umbrella.
They come from far-flung areas. I mean, it's like things aren't working at our school here in San Diego, so we're going to send you to Ashtabula County, Ohio.
I would reframe that. Instead of send them to Ashtabula County, I would say giving them the opportunity to kind of wipe the slate clean and reinvent themselves to find success.
Do most of the kids seem to thrive here then?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost the analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. We're the water. Everything here is set up for our student success, whether it's the teachers who all live on campus, the access, the small class sizes, the ability to differentiate and be flexible in the classrooms. Everything is there. All they need to do is drink the water. And a lot of times our boys are coming to us with low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and a low view of who they are. And everything we're doing is trying to build them up. We're trying to build their self-confidence, build their self-esteem. And again, that's really what we take pride of.
Does all the faculty, all the staff live on campus?
All of our teaching faculty do. Most of our administrators do. And that's really my ethos of what a boarding school is. We just built new faculty housing this past year to accommodate new teachers. So again, it's my belief that our teachers should live on campus because it allows our students access to them for teaching opportunities outside of the typical classroom day.
So there's no 8-hour day for them or a 9 to 5 day or anything like that?
No, so school's over at 3:05, and then we get into afternoon activities and athletics, dinner and study hall, and interactions with faculty and other staff members in between. So learning doesn't just stop at 3:05.
I've been here since last January, I think.
And you're from Texas? So how did you go from Texas to northeastern Ohio?
My parents said I should go here. I'm like, okay.
Well, how did that happen? Did they do some research or something?
They toured the school and they thought it was the right fit for me. So I'm like, oh, it'll be different.
So is it the right fit for you?
Some things are, some like the academics is, but I mean, I guess that's the only thing.
So how are academics a good fit for you?
The teachers help me. Like the teachers, they're very helpful here. Like they'll take time, even not in class, to help you.
And were you like in public school before this?
No, I was in private school.
So what isn't a good fit for you?
I guess in a way the lack of freedom we have, I guess mobility would be a lack of mobility the students have to like go out and do things not with the school camp on our own, just really a lack of that. I guess having the freedom and that most teenagers should have.
We're entrusted with our parents' most precious possession, and that's their child. And even above education, we're promising them the safety and security of their son. There won't be a boarding school in the country where kids can come and go, especially from a safety standpoint.
Well, we do receive a lot of kids from different programs. So in the context of therapy, I mean, no, the concerns would be very much similar. We have kids with learning differences, so there's sometimes some executive functioning things that we might be working on.
And what would that be like?
That would be like learning how to execute certain things in your daily tasks. So as to move to point A to point B to point C and get through your day in a way that's healthy and ultimately that gives way to other good things.
Would that mean like maybe getting to class on time or?
Yes, yes, or even how you pack your book bag. It could be as simple as that, but it also could be executive functioning, how you even think about your day. So learning how to prioritize throughout your day in your academics, your social life, your family life, your life at Grand River Academy.
Do you have kids that are just like homesick?
Yes.
Or there's an adjustment? I mean, everything's an adjustment.
It is an adjustment. Right, the headmasters, I have to say, we have 90 kids for 90 different reasons. And so my job normally as a counselor is to try to discern what those reasons are, learn the needs of the students, and then learn to help them work through those needs. Kids are sent here sometimes for the class size didn't work, or the community that they were in wasn't working for them.
So that is a section of a few of our dorms, I should say, where our students reside. They typically have 2 to a room. They're assigned roommates. They have to stay with their roommates for at least a certain period at the beginning of the year before they're able to request a roommate change if necessary. And there are dorm parents assigned to every hall that they're kind of like the residence life directors, I would say, of each dorm. We have Mr. Sean Kaschak is the overall res life director that's in charge of planning a program for the students. But should students have an issue anytime during the night, they have a dorm parent that they can knock on their door and have access to.
So are they're in an apartment in the same building?
Yes.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, and I went to a therapeutic boarding school for the last year and a half.
Now, what's that?
For kids who had trouble back home, they helped shape up. I was thankful that I went to a good one. A lot of them were not that good and are getting shut down. And after a while, my parents didn't think I needed it as much as the school think I did, so they pulled me out and did some research, and I looked at schools with them, and I found this one, and
so you found the school, not your parents?
Yeah, they had consultant was choosing like one step up from a therapeutic school.
So, well, tell me like what's a therapeutic school like?
It's very. At my school there was like kind of like a loop. It's like after you graduate, they're going to recommend another therapeutic school. And a lot of kids actually did that.
Well, tell me how a therapeutic school is different.
There's a lot of one-on-one. It's more of we're going to focus on your behavior rather than your academics. So you get class time in, but a lot of the school day is like groups, focus groups, therapy, stuff like that.
Keep you on the straight and narrow rather than teaching you academics.
Yeah. They were leaning on academics, but I would say that they were pretty good on it. They handed out lots of homework, and since there was only 3 classes there, everyone did it as a group. So it was done in 30 minutes. So you chose this school. Was this the right? How long have you been here? 3 months. Because school started.
So far, is it?
So far, it's very good. I think so.
What do you like about it?
I like that there's a lot of one-on-one time. They really try to get you to pass. I wasn't doing so hot in math, but you do have to take the initiative. You're not they'll put your name up just to go to study hall, but you don't really have to go to study. You could just take a punishment instead, and that's kind of stupid, but a lot of kids do that. And if you take, if you're the one who takes the first steps, then you're acing and on headmaster's list, even if you're struggling, which is really good.
So, how about you adjusting to the weather?
Not good. Not good.
What do you think about being in an all-boys school? It's work?
It's different. I mean, I was at an all-boys boarding school before, and the school before that, I hung out with more girls than I did with guys. So it was really hard adjusting to, make friends with the opposite gender.
When I'm asked about the question about all-boys school, Typically, it's more of a concern of the student than the parents. But with modern technology, with computers, with cell phones, Facebook, FaceTime, Snapchat, Instagram, we basically have girls on campus. They're just not in the classroom. I venture to guess any boy who wants to spend most of his time interacting with girls on his free time could very well do that. I mean, the girls are in the rooms, not literally. The girls are in the student center. Wherever the boys have their cell phones and are chatting and doing whatever, the girls are here. It's just that they're not in the classroom where they can be a distraction. Our teachers teach to boys. Boys and girls learn very differently. A girl would like nothing more than to be able to sit in a 45-minute class and just get lectured to and take notes. Whereas a boy, even if a boy doesn't have attentional issues, maybe after 8 to 10 minutes, you lose them. And for a boy that does have attentional issues, which a lot of our boys do, it's maybe 2 to 5 minutes, and then everything is blah 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 blah. So our teachers know that, and so they're changing things up. The classes are very hands-on, experiential learning. A lot of times, I'm sitting in my office and I've got 2 windows, and I'm looking out the windows and seeing teachers taking their kids out and about when the weather permits. So the classroom is not just the 4 walls of the classroom, it's our campus. Our photography teacher just took his students off campus to do photography in a local park, so we can use our resources in the area as well as the classroom. So it really is a pretty comprehensive program.
So you're from Maryland. How did you end up in Northeastern Ohio?
Well, and when I was in 7th grade, my grades weren't too good, and I skipped a lot of school. And so I got sent to a wilderness program in South Carolina, and I stayed at a wilderness program in another boarding school for a year. And my mom, we had an educational consultant, and he and my mom narrowed it down to this school, a Grand River, and another, and so I visited both, and I decided I like Grand River better, and so the following year, for my freshman year, I came here.
And what year are you in now?
I'm a junior, so this is my 3rd year.
Okay, so you think it was the right choice?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of success here, so I think I think we made the right decision.
The individualized treatment where you can't just miss class. Is that?
Yeah, they hold you to a high level of educational. They hold you to a high level of success. So you can't, if you skip class, there's punishments. And, they're very structured also. So you kind of feel the need, like you don't want to skip class because after one day you get so behind, you really don't want to. So I haven't really felt the need or the want to skip school or anything.
What about the idea of it being an all-boys school?
I'm actually not a huge fan of it. I mean, I don't think any teenage boy would be. So, maybe in the educational, academics, it could be useful because you don't have a distraction, and also a lot of the teens that go here, they struggle with ADD or ADHD, and you have to be taught a specific way. So sometimes not having that distraction would help.
How many employees are there here?
A little bit over 50. Whether it's teachers, maintenance staff, our support staff in the offices, a little bit over 50 teachers, yeah.
And how many students?
In the mid-80s.
Okay. So how does that all work financially?
We're a tuition-driven school, so we're a nonprofit organization. So our operating expenses are covered by the tuition that our students pay.
Okay. There's no outside fundraising or anything like that? Or?
We have an advancement office, but the advancement office, so the outside fundraising, allows us to do the extra. So it allows us to build the faculty housing. It allows us to improve the efficiency of our program and facilities.
Okay. Do you have any like success stories as far as students that came here maybe not under the best of terms and the way they left and what they did afterward?
Every one of our students who graduates from us is a success story. We're with them every day, so we're seeing we're seeing their growth from a day-to-day perspective. But when you look back to where they were coming to us and where they're at when they're leaving us, every student is a success story.
So why did you and your parents decide that you're from Texas, so you came all up here to go to school?
Yeah, well, my parents hired an educational consultant, and then he decided, after reviewing several schools, that Grand River was the best fit, and ended up here. It's my 4th year.
So what characteristics do you have that made this a good fit? Interests or?
I don't know, I feel like I kind of just fit the mold of Grand River pretty well. Athletics, academically, everything, I just fit into the academy pretty well.
So what do you like about it here?
I love the sports programs. Everyone here is given the opportunity. We actually have a basketball game tonight. I'm really excited about that. Academically, school is really easy to do well. You get your work done. It's very easy to succeed if you put the effort in.
And you apparently have close contact with teachers. They're easily accessible?
Yeah, it's very easily. If you have a problem, for example, my calculus teacher, he lives right across the street. If I need any help at all, I can go over there at nighttime. It's available.
What about being boys only? Is that?
I mean, it is a little bit of a setback, you know. It's nice having girls around, but it works. It really does.
So if somebody was thinking about that and that was a consideration, you'd say go for it?
It's high school. I mean, there's college, which is really where it's all at. So I think for high school, it's bearable.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to do college-wise?
I'm planning on majoring in chemical engineering.
Oh, okay. So where do you want to go to school?
My number one choice right now is actually Stanford. Just sent my application in a couple days ago.
An additional opportunity our advanced students have who are on track to meet our graduation requirements, and their profile is usually a senior in the upper end of their class who's getting A's and B's. They have the opportunity to take college courses at Kent State Ashtabula during the day as well while attending Grand River Academy.
What about international students? What kind of challenges do they create, and how do you handle that?
Our international students create opportunity. They create opportunity for our students, our domestic students, to learn other cultures. It also creates an opportunity for them to learn the culture here in America. All of our international students are coming to Grand River Academy to graduate from here so they can go to an American university.
We have 29 international students on campus representing 5 different countries now. And typically when they come in, their language is very limited, and it's just amazing how we all together work to get them proficient enough. They're in mainstream classes, graduate, go on to big name colleges, universities, and do well.
So where are they from?
We have students from from Brazil, Russia, China, what's that? Venezuela, exactly. And then also Ferris is from Tunisia. Thank you. I'm drawing a blank. Yes.
You said Brazil, right?
Yes.
So how does somebody from Tunisia find out about a school in Ashtabula County?
Great question. We have consultants that typically travel around the world and help the students to share our information with them. And many times it's just word of mouth. An alumni. Is
there a profile of students, like you like this and you do this or whatever, so Grand River would be a good fit for you? Is there something?
Yes, yeah, we have some literature in their language that we share with them. We either share with other schools for the students to find that information just through the internet, through the consultants, through the alumni that have been here, passing on to friends and family the information, and it helps the student to know who we are, what we're about, how we can help them to...
You say you have students that know very little English when they get here? So how do you handle that? Do you know multiple languages?
I know 0. Maybe hello in their languages, but the key is to get them to speak as much English as possible. And so the more we are using English with them, encouraging them to, in the classroom especially, we try to have only English. It's understandable. You'll hear students from the same country talking together in their own language, and that's okay. We allow them to amongst themselves, but when they're in the classroom, we try to get them, as much as possible, use the English. We do a lot of visuals. We use a lot of listening and speaking, different tasks, class lessons to help them to become more familiar. Just being immersed, really, it's amazing how they pick up so much.
Rather quickly?
Rather quickly. And they've been learning English in their own country, but not to the point, where they're able to fluently speak it when they're at home. But once they get here, it's like the light bulb turns on within, some of them, a couple weeks, a couple months. Some of them it takes a little longer, and they're in the ESL program longer than others, but they've all graduated and have had college placement, 100% college placement.
Okay.
So.
Well, my mom went here when they allowed girls back in the 70s.
This was a girls' school too?
It used to be co-ed.
Oh, really?
Not for long, though. And I wasn't doing that great in my school, so my mom started researching schools, and then this popped up. And she's like, oh, I went there. And then she looked more into it, and it kind of was a good fit for me.
She thought it was. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I've done really well here. I've had masters and never was on nothing like that at my old school.
So what was your old school?
It was very small. I mean, there was 400 kids in 6 grades, so.
It was a private school?
No, it was public.
Okay.
Very small town. I liked it, though. I have a lot of good friends there, but academically this is a lot better for me.
So what do you see yourself doing in the future?
I want to go into hospitality.
Oh, okay.
I want to go to school in Vegas.
There's a lot of call for that there, I bet.
Yeah.
What grade are you in now?
I'm a junior.
Okay. What do you think about the lack of girls now?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but academically it's the right thing. Because you do a lot better. You don't have to worry about girls or deal with them.
Somebody also told me that you can structure the classes a little differently for boys.
Yeah. The teacher can just do a class for each kid because they're so small.
Well, how many are in your class?
My largest is probably around 10. My smallest is 3.
How would a high school student in a public school, how would he find it different here? And how would he find it similar?
I guess one difference that you'd find in a boarding school, especially at Grand River Academy, is the care and concern that we have for our students. Our sleepless nights, so when people ask you what keeps you up at night, it's really the success of our students. We take great pride in each success, no matter how big or small it might be, in how our students do. And I think in a public school setting, especially how large public schools are, it's really difficult for teachers and administrators to really get to that individual basis with their students. That's oftentimes why students find their way to us, is because they get lost.
Well, after 3 o'clock, they're done with their students.
At 3 o'clock, they're done with their students, and they get lost in the classrooms. The classrooms are just so big. The class sizes are just so big in a public school for every student to feel that personal touch from the teacher.
So how is it the same? Or isn't it?
There's very little similarities between a boarding school like Grand River Academy and any public school. I could talk for days and days about the failings of the public school system.
Part of that, you think, is just like the testing and all that sort of thing?
Well, the testing, the Common Core, the state mandated test, the pressure on the teachers to have to teach the test, the constraints within the curriculum, the constraints within the administrative structure at public schools. At Grand River Academy, we don't have those constraints. We can meet the students where they're at. We can individualize. We can be flexible, oftentimes in places where teachers in the public school system are hamstrung. Every one of our students who graduates from us is a success story. We're with them every day. So we're seeing their growth from a day-to-day perspective. But when you look back to where they were coming to us, and where they're at when they're leaving us, every student is a success story. Beginning next year, we're adding an 8th grade program to our existing high school program. And we look at that as an opportunity to expand what our program already does successfully to another group of students. And the goal of the 8th grade program is to prepare these students with the skill set, the foundation needed to succeed in a college prep high school. Also next year, we are going to be focusing on having a robust day program at Grand River Academy. We currently have 1 day student, but in the same vein of opening up for an 8th grade to open up our program to more students, we also think it's important for folks in Ashtabula County and our local community to be able to take advantage of our college prep program and our 100% college placement and success.
100%?
Yeah, and in fact, to graduate from Grand River Academy, you need a college acceptance. That's a requirement.
Wow. So this would allow students from any around here to go here during the day and then go home at night?
Yeah, to really take advantage of our entire program other than just sleeping here.
The Foundations Learning Program provides extra academic support for students who have high incidence learning difficulties. We provide lessons on becoming a better student, such as study skills, test-taking skills, strategies that good students normally do well on their own, but some of our students need a little extra help in developing in order to prepare for college. And we also do extra academic support, so any of their subject areas where they would need some extra help, we can provide help in that as well.
Okay. So kids aren't naturally born with the knowledge of how to study and all of it.
What do you guys think? Is that something that's natural? Is that something that you can learn how to be better students?
I guess it's about the environment that you're in.
Okay, so did you ever learn how to study, or like the skills that you're learning in here with the test-taking strategies and the study skills, is that something that you feel that you just naturally did, or is it something that you've been taught along the way in school?
You've been taught along the way.
Okay.
You've been taught.
So there's your answer.
I'm the Director of Advancement here at Grand River Academy.
So what does that mean?
Was it? That is a fancy title to incorporate a number of things that are umbrellaed under the Advancement Office. In particular, our main role is fundraising in our annual fund, because we are a private school and we're privately funded. We also take the responsibility of our grant writing and our outreach to foundations, as well as our community relations and some of our marketing efforts as well.
So how do you market the school? What do you say to possible organizations that might provide funding?
Oh, certainly. Well, we always share our mission and our vision, which for us, we are a school that benefits 9th through 12th grade students as well as a postgraduate year. For some reason or another, the majority of our students, something wasn't really working in their homeschool environment. That could be for any number of reasons. We always say that every student has their own story as to why Grand River is a great fit for them. But particularly, we hone in on the fact of our individualized approach. So our classroom sizes are so very small and personalized, typically 1 teacher to every 5 students, and you can't get lost in a classroom of 5 students. And that's really the hallmark of Grand River, is reaching the student where they are and bringing out their potential in whatever capacity that may be.
And all the students know where all the faculty live.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that is the ethos of a boarding school. Our faculty all live on campus with our students. So in addition to our dorm parents who literally live in the dorms with our students, the residences in the near community here in our neighborhood, majority of those are faculty. So the students have access to our faculty inside and outside of the classroom. So they're building relationships beyond just a traditional class period and academic period. They really know the student socially and emotionally as well.
So what would you say if somebody asked, that's good what you're doing for the students, but what does the academy do then for the community?
Oh, certainly. That's actually a large part of our initiative as part of the Advancement Office, are what are our opportunities to give back to the community in which we reside. And for us, the immediate community, of course, is Austinburg, where we live. But in our regard, we also try to branch out into the county, Ashtabula County, and then throughout northeastern Ohio. So a big piece that we are trying to instill in our students is the essence of giving back regardless of where you live in life. The majority of our students are boarding students, so they come from all over the United States and all over the world, actually. We have a strong international population as well. And having an understanding that wherever you live and for how long you are there, you become actively involved in knowing your neighbors and knowing your community through service. We range everywhere from our boys volunteering at our local rehabilitation center and nursing home in Austinburg, and we are involved with them throughout the year. So they've helped with their Halloween festivities. We've decorated for the holidays. They're going to be caroling for the residents here in the coming weeks. We're also very involved with different opportunities that simply come our way. So directly across the street at Austinburg Elementary, we have the opportunity where our international students are teaching Chinese to a group of students. We are collecting shoes for the needy. They are doing some different fundraising through student council and deciding which organization they might like to donate to in that capacity. And we do a lot here in the immediate community as well. We work with our local church to do their community dinners and serve at those every few months when those are scheduled. And we work a lot with Shannon's Mini Mart here in Austinburg as well, actually. They always contact us when they need a few extra hands, and the boys love it.
Wow.
So I think in our regard, we take any opportunity that comes our way that might be a chance for the students to learn or meet someone new. And of course has a service component where they have an essence of being involved and understanding what being part of a culture of philanthropy is.
It's an easy transition. We're almost set up like a mini college in terms of how the dorms are set up, how the academic buildings are laid out, even how the campus is laid out. So a lot of our students' college success once they leave Grand River Academy can be attributed to the fact that they've been away from home, they lived with other people, and they've had the opportunity to be educated and become independent at a boarding school.
Tell me a little bit about how there was some concerns that there's a perception outside of here that this is an area unto itself, so to speak. So can you speak to how the school interacts with the community?
We interact with the community all the time, whether it's in our local Austinburg area, whether it's volunteering with nursing homes, whether it's our students going to take Christmas presents to children at the hospital. We open up our facilities to various groups whenever asked. Really what I would say is for those who aren't really aware of what we do at Grand River Academy, the open invite exists to come out and take a tour, see our kids. We think we're a gem within the county, and we're doing wonderful work with the boys that we have.